Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Mukak Wadash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to the elect, Lord willing, with some of those men and women that believe with fear in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, patiently waiting for the day of our salvation, the day of our redemption. Hey, I'm the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another quick lesson. And this lesson is inspired by this image that you see right here in front of you. This was posted up by the White House press, right? And they put this out on their page, on their web page. And it says right here, this is our hemisphere. And this was posted up in regards to Trump taking over the nation of Venezuela without a war, right? Without any declaration of war. This man went into a nation and unseated a president from his position and taking his wife and bringing them to the Americas. Now, you brothers already heard about this all throughout this week, and it's only the 6th of January, right? This man woke up one morning. Obviously, this was planned. It was a planned deal. And not only is he doing that right in front of your faces, they're making a list of demands for their new puppet leader, right? They straight up depose this man, right? Again, America didn't have to go to war with these people. They took his country and they're taking his resources right in front of you. And this is what Esau does. And so for him to make a statement, this is our hemisphere. Who is the R, right? We already know that he's doing the bidding of the banking elite families. Right, the Rothschilds. What's this guy, Nathan Rothschild, told this nigga, good job. You ain't never heard the super elite or any of their scions speak openly in regards to these presidents and the moves they make. Right, so this is all calculated, and this is how Edomites do. Right, the scripture says what? The thief cometh not, but to kill, to destroy, to kill, steal, and to destroy. Right, and that's who's the thief? Esau, Edom. Right, because none of that belongs to him, right? So that the eyes of the whole world, even his own allies like Denmark, right? Because he wants Greenland, right? And they're speaking openly about supposedly annexing Greenland for themselves, right? Claiming a strategic positioning, right? And I don't know if I got the image, but there was an image of all of America. Oh shit! All of the Americas being changed to North America. So let me play a couple of videos that I got. Let me show you this, man.
This is our hemisphere. Rachel has President Trump threatening other countries, including Colombia, Mexico, and Cuba. The State Department posting this image with the words, "This is our hemisphere." Rachel has more from the White House.
Well, Maggie, the impacts of that operation in Venezuela are already starting to ripple across Washington. We saw top lawmakers over on Capitol Hill receive their first classified briefing. Remember, they were not notified until after that operation was already underway. President Trump defending it, insisting that
you're supposed to get you go into a country that's not yours. You basically started a war, and that's something you're supposed to get congressional approval for, man. But this devil, he don't give a fuck, bro. Excuse me for my language, but his actions show that. And it's only an Edomite move like that, right? Real quick, let me get a precept. This is the book of this is the book of Habakkuk. Let me get that, because that's what I had. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse, I'll start at 5. It says, I'll start at 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith, right? It says, verse 4 in the NLT. In the NLT, it says, look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to the Most High. The righteous, right? That's the elect of Israel. Okay? But going up further in this verse, it says, look at the proud. And there's nobody more proud that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the banking elites, right? They trust in themselves and their lives are crooked, right? Going back to that KJV, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gather unto him all nations, and heap up unto him all people. Right? In the NLT it says, wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest, because they want more. Right? So when you look at Trump, he's a nobody. He's a middle management. But he expresses the same will as his handlers, which is the banking elite families, right? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they want it all. They want everything, right? And they're consolidating the earth into their hands, right? Taking up people, taking up nations. None of this belongs to them, right? But that's going over the heads of the most people, right? The average Edomite walking this earth, they believe that this guy's doing the right thing, right? He's deposing a leader, right, who was duly elected, right? Maduro didn't get in power because he had war going on. Maduro didn't get into power because there was a power vacuum happening, a coup happened. No, he was elected into office, right? He got in there after the guy, Hugo Chavez, I believe that's his name, Hugo Chavez, right? His predecessor. And he's been in office ever since, right? And America is not in any situation to dictate who can be in power, who can't be in power, because America does the same thing, right? These leaders, they're not elected, they're selected, right? They're craftily and carefully selected by the banking elite. As long as they do what they tell them to do, that's their man in office, man. Right? Let me play some more of this.
Legal, and also insisting that the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela, but there are still many.
Yeah, but you're not at war with Venezuela, but you took a whole leader out of his position. You went into a foreign country that never went into your country and deposed your country. They didn't declare war against you. You declared war against them because you could, right? Because their military is nothing, right? Non-existent compared to your own. Right? They don't have no other nation is stepping up for them. Right? Even the nations they doing business with, which we're gonna get to that. Because they're making a list of demands. Right? In order to get control of their country back, which they'll never have control of their country.
Questions on how exactly the U.S. is going to run Venezuela, especially as the president is now threatening that he may target other countries too, including Colombia, Cuba, and even Greenland. We are getting reaction from world leaders now. You have Colombia's president saying, "Do not threaten me. I'll be waiting here if you want," indicating he's ready to take up arms. In addition to Colombia, we also heard the president reiterate that he wants Greenland to be part of the United States. The Danish prime minister says, with respect to Greenland, if the U.S. attacks a NATO ally, then everything stops.
We need to be ready, because at the end of this first quarter of the 21st century, conflicts are no longer fought at arm's length. Conflict is at our door.
Yeah, and conflict is at your door, but you're the man of conflict, right? You're taking things that don't belong to you, right? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, but only for a short time. And your time is up, right? You super elite banking families, your time is up. Revelation 12:12. Seeing as he has a short time, knowing that he has a short time, but he's going to come down with great wrath because he knows he has a short time. Obviously, he's going to take it out on the Israelites, but the Lord's going to defend us, chiefly the elect, right? You're the man of war. You love war. Let me go back to Habakkuk, right? It says, verse 6, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which is that debt." Right? That I bought you that thick clay. You heaping up things that don't belong to you. Right? And then you getting a kudos, a that a boy or attaboy on your pat on your back by the elite science, telling you good job, right? Because you want them resources, and then you try to act like you scared of war. You want war. You love war. Esau loves death, right? Revelation 6 tells you that. I'll get that real quick. Revelation chapter 6, I believe it's 4 or 5. 4. Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red. That red horse is Edom, right? And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, right? So with this man in power, this devil in power, there ain't no peace gonna be given, right? That's why the world is all about death, right? And that's this man, Esau, Edom, not just the American devil. You got this overseas devil too.
Back to Europe, and he must be prepared for the skill of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured.
Yeah, he said you must be ready for the scale of war that their grandparents and their great-grandparents experienced or endured, which is what? World War II, World War I. And now World War III is coming. Let me get that precept. Revelation chapter 9. And 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter, which is the World War II. World War I, World War II, now World War III. Revelation 11 and 14. Revelation 11 and 14. It says what? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. Right? So you had two world wars. And now we're in the early throes of the third world war. And guess who spearheaded these wars? You Edomites. You Edomites. You caused millions of people, hundreds of thousands, then the millions, then millions, then tens of millions. Now you want billions of people to be sacrificed for your big blood sacrifice to World War III. But you don't realize that this gonna spell your end. Because unlike the previous world wars or the previous wars, this one is going to be fought by what? Fuel of fire. Fuel of fire. It says, Isaiah 9 and 5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And that's what's coming.
To be ready.
This is a controlled detonation for you. This is a controlled detonation of Yahweh Shah to get your ass up out of here. And it's all the reason why.
Because at the end of this first quarter of the 21st century, conflicts are no longer fought at arm's length. Conflict is at our door. Russia has brought war back to Europe.
He said Russia has brought war back to Europe because Russia is going to be the spearhead of the other side of the coin, right? When this devil goes into the state of Israel and take that bitch over. You can read that Ezekiel chapter 38, right? They two devils are the same coin. They're both ran and operated by the banking elite. Neither one of them are independent of each other. All right? And that's what's happening.
And we must be prepared for the skill of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured. We need...
I would like to take this opportunity to send a message directly to the United States of America. The US is a big country and Denmark is a small one. And so this is not only about Greenland or Denmark. This is about the world order that we have built together.
The world order that they built together, which is an Edomite world order. The Denmark, they're Edomites too. Egyptian fighting against Egyptian. I know we usually use that for America. You know, what's that? Republican against Democrat. Hey, but these are all Edomites, man. Mm-hmm. And you can't see that Yahweh Shah is orchestrating an Edomite implosion, bruh.
The Atlantic over generations. You cannot annex Greenland or Denmark. This is about the world order that we have built together across the Atlantic over generations.
How did they build that Edomite world order across the Atlantic over generations? By enslaving the children of Israel, by displacing, genociding the children of Israel from the lands of the Americas, right? And now this devil, he's biting himself.
You cannot annex another country.
But you do that all the time. Russia annexed the Ukraine, right? Now America is annexing Venezuela, and then they want to annex Greenland.
Not even with an argument about international security. I would like...
For the first time ever, Denmark's intelligence service has listed the United States as a threat to the country in a report that was quietly released this week. The report accuses the US of using its economic power to assert its will and threatening military force against its allies. In particular, they highlight the US's increasing interest in taking over Greenland, an autonomous territory that is part of Denmark. In recent months, the Trump administration has repeatedly stated that it wants to take control of the territory, claiming it is vital to its national security interests, as the US seeks to compete with Russia and China for influence in the Arctic region. Now, this has caused a lot of concern within Denmark, to the point where the country has established a night watch tasked with monitoring Trump's unpredictable words and actions while they sleep. Now, Denmark has for decades considered the US its biggest and closest ally, and so the
Edomite nations, bro.
shift in how they view them is a pretty big deal. However, they aren't the only European ally who's beginning to think this way. Many are starting to see the US as a potential threat, especially...
This is going to cause Revelation chapter 17. Revelation chapter 17, verse... just bear with me, brothers. Yep, Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Who's the whore? America. Who's part of those 10 horns? Denmark. These are the 10 European economic nations, right? It's more than 10 today, but Denmark is definitely one of them. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right? The beast is the Edomite beast Roman system, right? The pagan Edomite Roman system, right? And these different nations, they represent that, a horn in that beast. And the 10, or the 10 common markets, that's what it was called. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The whore is America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That fire is that nuclear fire.
After they released their new national security strategy document, a shift in how they view them is a pretty big deal. However, they aren't the only European ally who's beginning to think this way. Many are starting to see the US as a potential threat, especially after they released their new national security strategy document last week, which claimed that Europe faces civilizational erasure and argued that the US must cultivate resistance within European countries to change their political direction, which to many European governments sounded like the US was openly signaling it would interfere in their domestic politics. So Denmark's warning isn't coming out of nowhere. Overall, this is another reflection of the widening political gap between the US and Europe, and the sense that the long-standing transatlantic relationship is no longer stable. It is a moment that Europe hasn't faced in decades, the possibility that the US is no longer an ally. Follow from a quick explain this and analysis like this.
You gotta win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just gonna be... I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me.
He's scared. His devil's scared, man. He worried about getting impeached, right? Because of the shit that he's doing. And it ain't, look, you're not going to be able to turn back the hand of time. It's your time. It's your time to go down. You had your time when you were living good. Right now, the sun is setting on an Edomite kingdom. Right? This devil, he worried about getting impeached.
I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them, you know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should...
Again, Egyptian against Egyptian. Democrat against Republican. Republican against Democrat.
Impeach Joe Biden for 100 different things. They are mean and smart. You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me.
Breaking at this hour, this major development involving the U.S. and Venezuela. Sources telling ABC News tonight that the U.S. has now given Venezuela's interim leader a list of demands that must be met before Venezuela can sell its oil again, demanding Venezuela kick out Russia, Iran, Cuba, and sever economic ties with them. Rachel Scott at the White House with late reporting tonight.
Tonight, sources telling ABC News that the U.S. conveyed a list of demands to the interim leader of Venezuela that the regime must meet before the U.S. will allow Venezuela to sell more oil. They include Venezuela must kick out China, Russia, Iran, and Cuba and sever economic ties. And Venezuela must agree to partner exclusively with the U.S. on oil production and favor the U.S. when selling heavy crude oil. The U.S. threatening the lifeline of the Venezuelan economy, imposing a military blockade. It sits on the largest oil reserves in the world. The chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Roger Wicker, saying the U.S. plan in Venezuela hinges on controlling the oil and that he did not believe the deployment of U.S. troops will be required. With President Trump hailing the daring raid that led to the capture of Nicolas Maduro,
It was an amazing military feat. We sort of got him a little by surprise, but it was brilliant tactically. It was an incredible thing.
3 days later, still no clarity from the administration on how the U.S. plans to, quote, run Venezuela. But the president has maintained the U.S. is in charge of the country.
The administration has a one-day plan on how to get rid of Maduro, but no idea of what happens after.
And tonight, the president facing sharp condemnation from world leaders over his threats to take over Greenland. The White House not ruling out using the military to do it. The president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important...
Yeah, so this devil is really losing his fucking mind. And it all goes back to this statement that we opened up with is what? This is our hemisphere. This is a prideful statement. And it's beautiful that they got that red in the middle. It's the devil, man. This Esau, Edom. Edom. This is the man. Right? This is the book of Obadiah. I'll start at 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. Edom is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the banking elite families. Their men at the top are Edomites. Trump is an Edomite, right? We have heard a rumor from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen, right? Insignificant. You're the insignificant people. Of all the heathen nations, you Edomites are the most insignificant, right? I made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride, and nobody despised Edom because of the way you look. It ain't about just, he said I'm a white man. He said I look like white. I'm a so-called white man. That's why they hate because my skin complexion. Nah, nigga, it's the way you do business. It's the way you operate. It's your mindset. It's your thinking. It's your habits. It's everything. It's all of you, man. Right? It's everything that encompasses the Edomite. And you want the world to believe that you don't exist no more, nigga. You still here. Playing in our faces, bro. Behold, I've made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And these are the reason why Esau is despised, starting with them Amalekites, bro. You're the most despised, despicable people on the planet Earth, man. You're despicable me. Right? You grew. Right? You're, what's it called? Gargamel. You devils, man. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down? When you make statements like this is our hemisphere. This is what you're saying. Who shall bring you down? Yahweh Shema Shai is going to bring you down, man. Right? And he's doing it through the word. And you're playing right into his hands, in his only begotten son's hand. Because you gonna realize that you Edomites, you don't control shit. You're not the sole controller. Yahweh Bashim Shai is the sole controller. Right? This is his operation. Right? And you playing right in the hands of prophecy. You're going right into it. You're not stopping it. You can't stop it. Because your heart is in the hands of Yahweh Bashim Shai. You can't do nothing against the truth before the truth. Right? However you think this is going to end, It's not. It's not going to end with you on the top and you in perpetual rulership and everybody else in the world in digital slavery. And all these sellouts of the nations that been playing in your pocket and in your hand, they ain't doing shit. They ain't causing nothing to happen. This is the will and power of Yahweh Shemi Awashai, putting you into a corner and showing the world what kind of man you are. And it's beautiful that he's doing it with America, because this is your chief place. This is the chief portion of Edom. This is Basra, right? Right? This place right here, America. And who governs this place? The devil, Esau, Edom. By way of them banking families, man. And you think that, oh, I'm going to chip everybody in the world and you'll have nothing and be happy. That ain't the way Yahweh Shema Shai set this earth up to be. Oh, I'm going to just get rid of the real Israelites. I'm going to get rid of these Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I'm going to just destroy them, right? They're going to be perpetually oppressed and engulfed in iniquity. And that's how it's going to be. Nope. That ain't what the scriptures say. You need to read the instructions, right? And you can try to defame the prophets. You can try to dismiss the word of Yahweh Shema Awashai, but it's still going to stand, right? This is the most prideful thing I've heard this devil say. This is our hemisphere. No, it belongs to Yahweh Shema Awashai. And that's why Yahweh Shema Awashai is going to burn this bitch. They're going to burn this bitch with nuclear fire and chariot fire. And there go your portion of the hemisphere. And you're going to be drugged back into captivity, as you should be. And there you're going to stay for 1,000 long years. And after that, you're going to be Obadiah 1:18. Read it. You're going to be stubble. You're going to be burnt the fuck up. But first, that ass got to go to work. Right? See, we're seers. So we're seeing the future. We know your future through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Awashai. And we ain't no damn psychics. We're seers because the Lord has given us the eyesight to see his plan that he has for this place, man. Establish a shalom on to the next. Shalom.